What's up, my friend? Welcome back to another video. And today I just wanted to chat about something that's very, very practical because when it comes to online business, most of the time we are creating a personality-based brand, right? And when it comes to selling our products and our services, a lot of the times it is our personal name that goes behind what we're offering. So that's really important that we create a good first impression for our audience. They come to know, like, and trust us, and therefore eventually when they get results from our free content, then they can transition over to paid customers eventually down the road. But then the question comes, well, I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable in creating free content, or it feels like there's a lot of setup that has to be done. There's a lot of things I have to consider before I can actually create content. So I want to share with you 3 practical tips to help you create content and just get it out there and start building that audience and therefore your business, okay? So the first tip I want to share with you is to simply keep your setup very, very simple. And if I could share with you my exact setup right now, I would. But basically, the way I have things set up is I have a lamp that's shining light on my face and my body. And in terms of the camera, I'm literally just using my iPhone. Now, obviously, if your light is better, if your lighting is better, if you have better treatment in your room, then you can get some incredible results, right? But for me, my studio also doubles as my bedroom. So I don't want to like move stuff in and out every single time I make a video, and I just keep it super simple. So the way I have my camera set up on my phone is that I have this tripod setup that I bought from Staples, and I literally just put that smartphone mount on the very top, and then I slide in the phone that's now recording my face as we talk. Aside from that, though, I really have nothing else. In terms of the editing software, I just use ScreenFlow, which is Mac only, and I use iMovie. A lot of people use Final Cut Pro, they use DaVinci Resolve, right? There's a bunch of different editing platforms out there, but like when it comes to content, consistency is the number one thing that really matters. So if you're able to create content regularly and keep the quality good enough that it doesn't compromise based on the amount that you're putting out, then I see no reason for you not to keep things simple, right? When things are simple, it's less likely for us to get overwhelmed and more likely that we will execute on that idea, on that plan. So my first tip is to keep it as simple as possible. Again, I just use a tripod with my phone mounted on it and it records me. Afterwards, I will import it into my computer along with my audio that I set up separately with my microphone. That's recording into my DAW called Logic Pro 10. And then I combine those together in ScreenFlow, export it out to iMovie, create little transitions at the very beginning and end, little fades, and I bump up the volume, and that's literally it. So the first thing I can recommend is to keep your setup simple, okay? Now the second thing is a little bit more nuanced, and that is about communication. So when it comes to communicating and sharing information, a lot of people are quite monotone, right? Their voice kind of stays at the same pitch the entire time, and frankly, it gets a little boring to watch them. And maybe you've been guilty of this at some point as well. Like I know when I started out, I watched back my old videos and I basically cringe because I sound like a robot. I don't really have any life in my voice, and but that's part of the process, right? It comes with the experience, and you just learn how to communicate better in every single video. So the way I like to think about it is as if I'm talking to a friend, and I have lots of good friends, and so basically I'm just imagining like I'm sharing this information with a close friend of mine who is interested in learning more about this subject that I'm talking about. And if I think about it that way, it takes away all the pressure. I really have no obligation to be as professionally polished as possible because my authentic self is more casual by default. So if I can share this information in a way that makes sense to a friend, I want to share the information in a way that makes sense to them, that's not overwhelming, not confusing, and I want to do it in a friendly, approachable way because I like this person I'm talking to, right? They're my friends. So if you think about it in a similar way, I think that will ease a lot of the tension and the pressure when it comes to creating content and recording yourself. I think a lot of creators feel awkward because they feel like they're just talking to an inanimate object, which technically is true, but if you want to share information and convey it in a convincing and authentic way, then I think thinking about it in terms of speaking with a person or a family friend or a community member of yours, whatever, that would be the best way to think about it. So that's tip number 2 I can share. And tip number 3 to make creating content easier for yourself is to simply not over edit. So it kind of ties into point number one. But when I edit my videos, I keep things really, really simple because while I do enjoy the editing process, I don't really like to do it in a complicated way. I don't really like to do tons of B-roll. I don't like tons of jump cuts. I don't really do a lot of flashy images, graphics, all that stuff, because it's just not who I really am, I guess. And I'm not really a video editor, so I guess I don't really geek out on that sort of thing. But when I'm editing, I really am just making sure that the audio, like from my microphone, lines up exactly with my video, because I don't use the audio from the video, right? That's not quite as good as a dedicated mic picking up my voice, for example. So I make sure those are lined up together. And then if I do have any graphics that I overlay on top, then I'll make sure those are going in the right places, put little fades for those in and out. And then that's pretty much it. Like I might do some cuts out for some dead space where I made a mistake, or I'm just trying to think about my next thoughts. Like I might do that. But aside from that, my editing workflow is very, very simple. So like my other niche, my main niche of music production is kind of the same way. I always tell my students not to overthink things. And at a certain point, when the music itself feels like it's full enough, it's conveying the right musical information, that's when you know that the piece of music is actually done. Because you could always go back and edit more and more and more. And you're trying to chase that element of perfection that just doesn't exist. So I always recommend try to work on your music until you're happy with it, maybe 85 or 90%, and then get it out there. And the same for me goes for video editing. So edit to the point where it's done, it's good, right? It's polished, but that's it. Don't feel like you have to add too much, because you might even distract your audience with too much information or just too many graphics, all those things. So just to quickly recap, number one, keep your setup simple, mainly about the hardware I'm talking about. So you have your main camera, maybe that's just your phone. You have a tripod, so you can change the angle and the distance and the height. If you have lighting, that's great as well. Again, I have my lamp. And then for software, the simpler it is, the better again. So if that's like Final Cut Pro, you're used to it, then by all means use that. DaVinci Resolve, I think it's free. That's a great software as well. But again, I just use ScreenFlow because it's really easy to use for Mac, and iMovie as well. And then just keeping in mind to speak to a friend when you're creating your content. Assuming you're doing like video content where you're talking to the camera, thinking about it in that sort of way makes things a lot easier for me. So hopefully that's helpful. Thank you so much for watching. And just to give you a little something before you go, I created a guide a while ago called 3 Weapons to a Successful Online Business. And in this video, I basically talked about one of those things, the content, but there are 2 other things that create a successful online business that I don't want you to miss. So if you've been enjoying this content, you want to see more, then feel free to grab that down below in the description box. I'll link that down there. It's a PDF you can grab for free right away. And it's my thank you for checking out this video today, and I hope it helps you. And the other thing I want to share is if you've been enjoying you're building your online business and you want to dedicate yourself to a platform where you don't really have to tape things together externally like I did for the first few years, then I would recommend Kajabi. That's the name of this channel. I create content all about Kajabi and also, online business as a whole. But Kajabi really is an all-in-one platform that lets you focus on just your business and your content without having to worry about the hassle of the technology and all that stuff that goes on behind it. So if you're interested in trying Kajabi for yourself, they usually give you a 14-day free trial on their website. But if you want to use my link down below, christophersiu.com/Kajabi, then I can get you an extended 30-day free trial to build your business on the platform. Plus, I'll give you 2 bonus mini courses, Kajabi in 30 days and content marketing for creatives, both of which are designed to get you up and running as quickly as possible and help you build your business and ensure that you have success on the platform and in your business. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll catch you in the next video, and I'll see you very soon. Take care.